Mr. Speaker, COVID-19 contributed to the acceleration of the digitalization of Africa. Data from the Bank of Ghana confirms a growing trend in online trade. The data showed that between February 2020 and February 2021 alone, Ghana saw an increase of over 120% in the value of digital transactions compared to 44% for the period February 2019 to February 2020. Apart from the convenience online trading offers, the surge has happened globally was primarily due to the increase in the use of digital platforms as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Total value of transactions for 2020 was estimated to be over 500 billion Ghana cedis compared to 78 billion cedis in 2016, just 5 years ago. While total money subscribers and active mobile money users have grown by an average rate of 18% and 16% respectively between 2016 and 2019. Mr. Speaker, it has become clear that there is this enormous potential to increase tax revenue by bringing into the tax bracket transactions that could be best defined as being undertaken in the informal economy. After considerable deliberation, government has decided to place a levy on all electronic transactions to widen the tax net and rope in the informal sector. This shall be known as the Electronic Transaction Levy or e-levy. Mr. Speaker, electronic transactions covering mobile money payments. Mr. Speaker.
All right, so it's the morning after the finance minister presented the 2022 budget in Parliament, announced that government will cease the collection of tolls on public roads and bridges. It quickly followed up with a press statement from the Ministry of Roads and Highways saying that the directive is with immediate effect. And so people who ply the Accra Cape Coast Highway at Kaswa are not paying any tolls this morning. We've checked with others, and there are still other toll booths they are not paying. I think the Accra Tema motorway is one of those. We'll be getting there. We'll be there this morning in Kaswa, the Kaswa toll booth, to get some reactions and see if it has improved the traffic situation as envisaged by government. Now, while the scrapping of the tolls will excite a lot of motorists and road users, a tax is being imposed on electronic money transactions. Essentially, you will have to pay a 1.75% tax each time you send or receive mobile money or transfers electronic funds electronically. We'll come to the details. But government officials we've approached so far, they're here to clarify how exactly this e-levy will be applied. So this morning, we've been joined by Deputy Finance Minister Dr. John Kuma.
Yes, that's right.
He's going to break it all down for us. He's here with the former Deputy Finance Minister Dr. Kassel Atuforting to also help with the analysis. What we're hoping to do, as I said, is not have just another political banter, but a conversation where we get to appreciate the details of this budget. The Finance Minister calls the Ajenkwan budget, and the minority. At one point, you said it was Krumayeshe budget, but I'm also hearing others saying it was Sewa Broni. A Woodie budget. But the people who are having to go through the toll booths this morning and not having to pay any toll, they would agree that it's Ajenkwa, don't you think?
First, let me say that I'll be the first person to acknowledge that indeed that singular policy is a good one for us to abolish the toll levies.
All right.
Because, Israel, the reality is that the amount of fuel we burn in the traffic waiting to pay the toll affect the BOP, the balance of payment, in the sense that You know, the dollars, you use dollars to buy this fuel. So it's not only your pocket, but you actually take some money away from government in terms of the foreign exchange. And that obviously can be negative for the state. But the revenue involvement is about 72 million. In one breath, this government is giving us a relief of 72 million. But the reality is that they are taking back from you and I, 25 billion Ghana cedis, new taxes. So don't just look at it that they've given you 72 million cedis in terms of revenue loss or relief to the ordinary Ghanaian. But remember that the policies in this budget has imposed additional taxes that is going to collect money or take your money worth 25 billion Ghana cedis. That is what it is.
All right. The way I would want to look at this, the tolls, wrapping and abolishing the tolls, is in a country where we're trying to encourage digitalization, why would we abolish because we say it's causing traffic congestion and pollution and all of that? Why don't we rather use electronic means so that people can have stickers on their cars, so that when they get there electronically, it picks automatically. You just drive through rather than having to stop.
Israel, let's get the announcement correct. It is abolishing of road toll on public roads.
Okay.
So if in future government does a PPP road and a private investor constructs a road, he is entitled to put a road toll on it for collection, for recovery. But government roads, like what we are having today, is abolished.
So all the roads that government has right now
is abolished.
All the roads. Really.
Let's say if you go to University of Ghana, they have a private road. You cannot ask them to remove it. But every public constructed road has been abolished.
Is it also pointing us in a direction where, by what you're saying right now, you're going to be doing a lot more PPPs for other roads, and then the people will be free?
But the budget announced too.
Yes, I mean, we have to encourage it. But I'm telling you that in Ghana, we are also going to see aggressive construction of roads because, like he rightly said, we are getting more revenues and we'll be able to do more. The 25 billion he spoke about is for you and I. Who is government? We have put a government in place. We need to help that government to raise revenues to serve us, do our roads, build our schools, do Agenda 111. Where is government going to get the money from? The government is you and I. So if before we were getting less and now we are getting more to do more for us, it's nothing really. But maybe if I could go into the...
But the point I actually made about automating the toll booths to reduce the traffic congestion that you're talking about and the pollution and all of that. Why didn't government consider that? No,
we want to bring relief. That's why we call it a Genkwan budget. We want to bring relief
in one breath,
to motorists.
You want money.
Yes.
The government needs revenue.
Exactly. Okay. We need it. But for now, the fact that we need revenue doesn't mean we don't also want relief for the people. So for now, in our estimation, what we are getting from the e-levy should be enough for us not to keep the road toll as it is now. We rather want to divert the road toll issues to a private road construction to also encourage people with capital to look into the private construction of roads in our country. So that's an arrangement that we also want to promote. But for now, the e-levy, and I'm sure you give me time, even in your intro, you made a mistake in saying that sending and receiving, you are going to...
Okay, so if you send,
it's only for those...
said,
yes.
If you send,
yes,
you're going to pay.
Yes,
for
only
those
for those who are sending.
For
receiver doesn't pay.
No, the receiver doesn't pay.
Yes.
But that
except for remittance.
Paid for. Somebody's going to pay. It may not be the receiver.
Doesn't matter who is paying.
But somebody has to pay.
No, let's get this clear. Currently, you know the telcos, when you send, you pay. The receiver also pay. Government...
No, if you send...
If I receive money, you pay, yes.
If you are withdrawing,
yes, you pay.
So but if I'm receiving money on my...
Yes.
On my, I don't pay.
But once you withdraw, you pay.
Okay.
But it's not like that with the government policy. It's only when you are sending. And let me make it clear. We have been patient with this toll levy, with this e-levy, especially with regard to Momo for a very long time.
Right. Government
has consistently invested in Momo and digitalization in our country to get to where we are now.
I would want to understand the investment.
But area. Before, you could not even do interoperability. That was a huge investment by government to promote Momo transactions in our country.
That
exactly. And that has also shot the transactions up to 500 billion. Government could have introduced Momo.
Is it the case that people are doing more mobile money because they find it convenient, or you think it's simply because there's interoperability, that's why it's happening?
First of all, interoperability helps the convenience, so we are saying the same thing. But the fact is that with COVID, lots of transactions have gone digital now. Now the economy is moving more on digital. Some people will sit on their phone, go on Instagram and order shirts, dresses, instead of going to a shop. So a lot of things have changed. And so if you are a government, one of the strategic things you can do is to go into that sector and get some revenues. Now, we are not just looking for revenues. We also want to give relief to Ghanaians. So we did our research and found out that about 30% of Momo users in Ghana fall below a certain bracket, about 30%. They do not do Momo beyond 100 cedis a day. And for government, that adds up to about 3,000 Ghana cedis a month. We exempted all those category of Momo users. So if you are a poor person, you are earning less than 3,000 a month in terms of the interpretation, you are not going to pay anything when you send Momo. And that means that your first 100 cedis transaction on any Momo transaction you do is exempted. But once you cross 100 cedis a day, then you are going to pay 1.75% on your Momo transactions, okay? And it is only the person who is sending who is receiving. The person who is paying, not the recipient.
Right.
He is not going to pay.
So let's say
then the remittance.
We'll go through it.
Okay.
That's the whole idea.
Yes, to understand, yes.
So I'm sending 200 cedis to Dr. Cassell Forsing.
Yes.
200 cedis, 1.75% of that will be 3 cedis, 50 pesos.
Yes.
Your first 100 cedis is not captured.
Okay. It's not build up.
No.
Is it build up? Is it like PAYE?
No.
That you have personal allowances?
No. It's just the first 100 cedis of your transaction is exempted. So if you are sending 200, it won't capture your first 100.
Okay, so I'll pay only 1 cedi, 75
pesos.
Yes. For the 200 cedis.
Yes.
Now, will that be in
for
addition?
For your first 100 cedis is
that's what he's saying.
Yes.
Well,
because there's no way to determine who will do more than the 100 cedis. So as part of the deductions, you exempt 100 cedis on every transaction.
Okay, so that will have to be factored into it.
Yeah, it's factored.
Have to figure out.
Yeah.
So, but I also want to know, there's also something that I pay to the telcos. Is a 1.75% going to be slapped on after the telco charge?
No.
Right now, as it is, if I'm sending money to, if I'm sending the 200 cedis to Dr. Cassell Forsing, there's a 1% on it.
Yes.
All right. Will the 1.75 come on top of the 1%?
No, it's on the transaction. Any transaction above 100 Ghana cedis, government will take.
How does the telco? Okay, so where does the telco take their money?
Well, once government have announced a policy, we have to now sit down with the telcos from now to the implementation to see how we figure. And once this is also going to...
Shouldn't this have been the conversation before?
It's done, but I'm saying that they have their charges. Government have their policies. Now to implementation. The implementation is clear. Government says that any transaction above 100 Ghana cedis, this is our charge. Telcos also have their charges, okay? But you see, in every business, whenever a tax is introduced, you also have to review the impact of those taxes on your businesses. And I'm saying that in the implementation, it could even be that the telcos can also say, because of this introduction of 1.75 from government, this is how we also want to do going forward.
Right.
Yes, but for now, the implementation is clear. Government is charging 1.75% above 100 Ghana cedis transactions.
All right. Israel, to start with, John, this is a terrible policy, let me tell you.
But everything is terrible.
I tell you it's terrible. Not everything.
Everything has been terrible
I congratulated you on the removal of the road tolls.
Okay, so let's hear you.
So let me tell you
and
something.
know your alternative policy as well.
I will tell you the alternative.
Okay.
I have a big concern. The electronic transaction tax, I call it digital tax. It is not a tax that we should entertain. It is one single tax with 3 legs. The first leg is that it's going to tax Momo users. The second leg is going to tax people that are remitting. And the third one is going to tax bank transfers. So I will take you first to the bank transfers. Financial inclusion is everything. Banking sector inclusion is everything. We have said time and time, and successive government dating back from Jerry Rawlings to President Nana Addo. All of us, we've tried as much as we can to make Ghana a cashless economy.
Or cash light.
Exactly. That is something that almost everyone wanted to do. Sadly, this government is telling us that today, if a bank do a transfer for a customer, that customer is going to incur a tax of 1.75%. So what it means is, for instance, if you work with me and I ask the bank to transfer electronically your wages at the end of the month, even though I've paid taxes, I've been working as a withholding agent and collected the taxes and paid accordingly.
Yeah.
The government is telling me I'm going to pay tax on the transfers that I'm remitting to you as your wages.
Can we pause at this point? Let me get clarity. Mm-hmm. Is that what is going to happen?
If a bank transfers?
So my employer is paying me my salary. My employer asked the bank to transfer the money to me, as they will do at the end of the month.
Yes.
They're going to pay a tax on it.
There will be 1.75% on transfers.
That is a problem,
Why?
isn't it? Because then it means that in addition to, because I'm paying tax. My company is also paying tax. Now, it is also going to pay a tax for doing the transfer. It's going to add to their costs of doing business.
Yes.
And which they probably will then say, some employers may then decide that, okay, we're going to split it. So that I'll pinch you a bit and I'll pay.
So what was the alternative, assuming they were not transferring?
No, right now, as it is, we're not having to pay that kind of tax.
So now what is going to happen is that, you know what employers are going to do? They'll go to the bank, take cash and pay you cash.
So now I'm coming. So let's look at that process and see if it is even easier. Now bull vans are even being attacked. The inconvenience of going to cash, you are going to drive to the bank, right? You don't want to pay 1.75%, but you are going to buy fuel and drive to the bank to go and cash, risk the possibility of thieves following you. Is that what is proposed?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Is that what is proposed?
He makes the point.
So clearly, I'm coming.
He makes the point.
I'm coming.
That we've been driving digitalization.
Yes, we are, but there's a reason why we are driving it, okay? And the objective of government is to be able to raise revenues to do the expenditures that you and I are expecting the government to do. There's a cost to everything. If we say digitalization is not good, look at the alternative.
No, we're not saying that digitalization is not good. But everybody appreciates that.
Okay, good. Well. So if we have all invested to get to this level of digitalization, all government is seeking to do, and to even enhance digitalization, the better. We are going to do even further investment in the digitalization space and improve on the convenience. So the alternative will not save you anything if you want to withdraw and go and pay. No. You are still going to spend the same. It may even be more than the 1.75%.
Let me appreciate it at this point. Right now, we are not having to pay anything on it. Then,
no.
Next thing, or from next year, or from whenever this budget is approved,
according to them, starting from January,
we're going to pay.
Yes, from January.
It's going to make it's making people worse off.
Please,
Israel,
it's true.
Can I
Israel,
just continue with the point?
The essence of taxation. Maybe you come in, but is there anywhere in the world where taxes are imposed that people don't go through inconvenience?
I think we are paying taxes already.
But is it enough?
You're burdening. See, what then happens is that you're burdening the same people.
But the essence
who are
of
paying
taxation,
the taxes.
yes, taxation is burden. That's why we are trying to make other alternatives lighter for Ghanaians. I will not sit here and say that.
I thought what government ought to do was to broaden the tax.
Yes, that's exactly what we have done. Everybody
I agree that you're broadening, but then you're adding to the burden of people who already pay tax.
Taxes always add on to our burden.
John.
That argument shouldn't go there.
John.
I cannot defend the burden of tax. There's no country where you impose a tax that it doesn't bring burden. Okay? We acknowledge that. But we are saying that in order for us to achieve the objective of government, this is a better option. And if he says it's not a better option, he should tell us his alternative to the taxes that we have introduced.
Let me bring you in,
John,
to make a point.
Salai, let my brother be aware that there's a limit to the impositions of taxes. There's a limit to what the economy can take at a particular point in time. What he just said, the example he gave, he's contradicting himself. The bullion vans. The reason why we are actually asking those people to stop is for us to encourage them to do electronic transfer, isn't it? Now, government policy is going to encourage, because people will rather avoid paying. And so government policy is now going to encourage cash economy.
No.
I say this because if there's going to be a burden on me to remit money, and for instance, if I'm doing a business, for instance, take a real estate company, someone who has built a 1 million house. Can I no, please,
no,
you were quiet.
No, but you are here for education.
Whatever it is.
Also.
Whatever it is. Let me finish.
We'll come to that.
Yes, but it's not a burden on the remitter.
So it's a burden on who?
On the person who's paying.
Yes, of course.
So put it rightly. It's not a remitter.
No, I'm talking of the transfer.
Right.
I'm talking of transfer. I'm not going to remittance. I'm talking of the transfer. So it's the person actually doing the transfer internally. Okay, so this transfer that I'm talking, I've not gone there. There are 3 layers.
Remittance.
Yes, remittance. I've said I'm starting with transfers. So I've not gone to the remaining 2.
Okay.
So first of all, I'm talking about the transfers. And the transfers is that, for instance, you have a real estate company. You have someone buying a house from someone. Let's say 1 million Ghana cedis for easy calculations. 1 million Ghana, so 100,000 Ghana cedis. It should go through the banking system so that you'll be able to identify the person for tax purposes. Now, unfortunately, if that person pays 1 million Ghana cedis, what is going to happen is that person is going to pay 17,500 Ghana cedis as transfer tax, apart from the conveyancing cost and the stamp duties and all what they are going to pay. Do you think, if you are the one, you go to the banking system, you go and withdraw the cash and pay the person?
Withdraw 1 million.
Oh, yeah? Hey. Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
People do.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. You see, John, you seem far away from reality. You seem far away from reality.
People do.
John, you seem far away from reality. This is what it is.
Look, maybe you see, I'm not
done.
Haven't done.
I'm not done. Let me
flow
and then finish
today, if people have option of risking to carry 1 million and the option of transferring that through the bank, in this current situation, I know many people will do the transfer.
When it comes
because the cost of 17,000 that he's talking about, compared to, it will not even be up to the
17,500.
17 out of 1 million Ghana cedis.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but the risk is so much to carry it.
John.
No, but they've been doing it.
Israel.
Yes, but they've been doing it because they didn't have options. We have moved.
No, they've always had the option. They've always had the option of transferring money electronically.
Well, but
or cashing the money.
But Israel, I'm telling you that
let me tell you, this single policy is going to be railed against
Ghana cedis and wants to carry that money should understand the risk involved. Okay?
They are already aware of the risk.
I'm not so sure they are aware, but it is now even more riskier to carry cash.
So I give you another example.
And I will encourage them, even though, and they should be patriotic. If you are in a country that you have been able to raise 1 million Ghana cedis, and you find it difficult as a citizen You expect government to come and do your roles, but you cannot contribute 70%.
For transferring my money?
Please.
That I've paid tax on?
But that's the only way government will get the revenue.
Tell me one country that does that. Tell me one country.
Look,
globally. Give me one country that does that.
Let's go global.
Show me one country.
Oh, relax.
On a bank transfer.
Yes,
show me one country.
Globally. Look, European regional average for their tax to their revenues is 40%.
I am not talking about that. I'm talking about a country that taxes transfers.
The regional average in West Africa, okay, tax to their revenues is 20-25%. Ghana is doing 12 to 13%.
Oh, that is not a comparison I'm talking about.
That is the
I am being specific.
It is all revenues we are collecting.
Look, it is the question he's asking, the specific question. He says, one country that taxes people for transfer.
I've just shown him that he should go to Europe. They charge you. What is this?
Charge you what? Show me one country. We have internet here. We can all Google it.
Please,
show me one country.
Which country that transfers is free?
Yes.
Show me.
Show me.
No, you pay for
you pay.
Yes.
And even the remittance.
Tax. Nobody charges taxes. Nobody charges taxes.
The ones they pay, what is it for?
Look.
No, the bank charges.
Israel is their bank charges.
So you see, every country decides. Okay, maybe if Ghana is even the first, what's wrong? People will copy from us.
Oh, really? So you admit it?
No, I'm not saying we are the first because
Show me
I
one
have the information now as we sit here. But I can tell you that Ghana is one of the least taxed countries in the world.
No doubt about it.
Yes, I mean, so if you look at it, I'm giving him the percentages
we don't pay
from Europe, from even West Africa, even from West Africa.
We don't pay enough tax because we haven't broadened the tax net.
There's a policy to broaden it.
There's inefficiencies in the system. That's what it is.
Just one
poor compliance. That's what it is.
No, now Momo
but let me tell you something. Let me tell you
the contradiction.
Let me tell you something.
He's pushing the contradiction.
No, what is contradiction?
You are saying that many people are not covered. No,
but I've talked about 3 layers. I'm not even finished.
Momo covers everybody. If you are seeking to do both formal and informal.
We are on transfers. Let's finish that and move to Momo.
All right.
Look, my argument is simple. My profession is to analyze tax policy and to design a tax policy for government. That is what I learned. I'm a public and tax policy expert. What we do is that we look at impact of taxation in an economy. Whether it is going to create inefficiencies that would cause, whether it's going to assist or not assist, and it is going to affect the economy. But I can tell you for a fact that I am not aware of one country in this world transfer. Please.
Okay.
Not even the fees, so the transaction itself. Not even the fees.
And
then to continue.
Okay. Before you come to another clarity we need to get. So you're saying that if you, I want to also understand, if I'm transferring the money, the bank will charge me some fees.
Yes, on top of it. Correct.
Is this 1.75 coming on top of it?
No, it's going to be a tax on the transaction itself. So if you are transferring $1 million, regardless of what bank would charge you as charges, that tax is on the transaction, $1 million, 1.75% on that $1 million.
Okay, so he's asking questions about what he doesn't know.
But so you are now consulting me to
that's what you say you do. But when you were in government,
so consult me to assist.
You tax condoms, you tax cutlasses, you tax
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what you've done. You are actually taxing machete. What's the difference between machete?
Where is that?
In the benchmark values. In the benchmark values. That's it. Pharmaceuticals, condoms are involved.
So you see,
so what are
they tax even condoms.
Yes.
They tax cutlasses. They tax kayaye. In this country, nuisance taxes. We came and removed 17. So you cannot sit here and say that your qualification is about tax. Look, we scrap them, even including road toll.
13 taxes so far. 13 taxes since 2016, and I can list all of them for you. That's what they have imposed. 13 taxes. I'll go there, but let me tell you something. The transfers will not help us, the bank transfers. Let us admit that it is going to affect the banking sector and do something about it. I can assure you that when this tax comes to Parliament, we are going to open our eyes like this. We'll read line by line, and I can actually support it. Now, back to remittance. Back to remittance.
Dr.
Back to remittance.
Yes. He makes this point that, yes, it's going to impose a burden, and it's going to
no two ways about that.
So is it, you're still working out the details, I understand.
Yes.
For the implementation. He's giving some advice. I want to think that
I've asked him what's his alternative. You see?
Look.
They are always complaining.
Can I talk about
we want to hear your alternative because we have come. Yes.
So at the meeting, at the, what do you call it, PMS Press, that as a member of the Finance Committee, we see him almost every week and his other colleagues coming to us with a proposal for tax exemption. He knows my positions on...
But tax exemption has been captured as one of the revenue measures.
Yes. Can I tell you?
So it's just repeating himself. So is that your alternative?
So you don't want me
it's
to
already
talk?
captured.
When
you want your alternative to the e-levy.
I keep quiet.
And
then you don't want me to speak.
Tax exemption is already captured. It's already
Show
captured.
me how much in tax exemption that this is.
Already captured.
This is your budget. Show me where it's captured. This is your budget.
Exemption.
Yes, show me where it's captured and how much revenue you are raising from it.
It is already captured.
This is your budget. Show it to me.
Let me go.
Show it to me and how much revenue we're talking about.
Don't worry.
So let me tell you
Let's go to the revenue measures.
Yes, let me tell you something.
Okay.
Yes, so tell me how much revenue you are getting from it.
I'm coming, don't worry. The tax impose electronic transaction, restoration of benchmark, implementation of info platform, impose electronic, review fees and charges, intensify revenue compliance, small scale.
So whilst he waits, he goes through
it.
Let me make this point. This measure is not going to help us. The bank transfer tax is not acceptable. The other one we should be worried about has to do with the remittances. So if someone...
But the bank transfer tax, really?
Yes.
So that we maybe reduce the burden.
Yes.
On the people.
Yes.
The tax itself.
Yes. You see,
the tax itself.
You see, what other countries do in a situation like that is to tax the fees that the banks are collecting.
Okay.
That's the best practice, not the transaction. Nobody does the transaction. I've seen so many examples across the world. I did some work with OECD, and clearly, so many countries in the world has taxes the fees that the banks are actually getting globally. That taxes what we call the transaction itself, to the extent that you are taking 1.75%.
So it's here.
Tell me.
Tax exemptions.
Yes, tell me how much you
Mr. Speaker.
Yes. No, it's important.
Relax,
Tell us.
Relax.
Yes.
Paragraph 320,
yes.
Tax exemptions. After undergoing several reviews, the exemptions bill has been completed and laid before Parliament. Mm-hmm. We hope to work with this House for final passage and implementation in 2022. Why are you laughing?
You've said that.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? You said it was not in.
Let me tell you something.
You said it was not in. I'm saying it's been captured in the budget.
That is why I have a problem.
I was actually hoping to hear that we're going to save so much.
Exactly my point.
Exactly my point. Even finished the bill. Why are you going into saving so much? So the important thing is that what he's proposing is already captured to be implemented in
we are aware that.
So what is his problem? And he knows we have laid it in Parliament. That's his problem.
He doesn't want me to speak.
No, why don't I want you to speak? You know that it is captured.
My alternative, he won't even like to
listen. It was not in. I have shown you the paragraph. He's not ready to
Paragraph 3. Let me tell you, this is empty and hollow.
Frankly,
this is empty and hollow.
I was also anticipating that
this is empty and hollow. This is not what we expect.
A quantum of...
this empty and hollow. Government is not committed.
Government is fully committed. It is going to be implemented in 2022.
The bill is saying...
So tell him he should give us an alternative. I'm still waiting for his alternative.
I have given you alternative.
You don't have an alternative.
So you're not talking about
already captured.
Probably you did not hear.
Is that his alternative?
Whilst you were going through...
You did not hear what I'm talking about. No, tax exemption is not alternative.
But we have already captured that.
So he won't...
How is that his alternative?
Whilst you were going through it,
let me tell you something.
He pointed to the fact that instead of taxing the transfer, we should tax the fees. So the bank is going to charge maybe 1% for transferring the money. Let's tax the 1% that they are getting.
Well, like he said, we are now going to put the policy in terms of details for implementation.
So that could...
If at the end of the day, the experts that we work with, technical team, government is not blind to people's opinion. If it's a good suggestion and we have to consider, why not? We will look at it. But that's what I'm saying. We should talk on alternatives.
Look,
you shouldn't tell us this is that. We have no difficulties. But we want to hear them. What are the alternatives?
I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that. And I'm happy he's saying this.
Why not?
But you see,
it's a good
we don't
idea,
design a tax policy like this. You don't go to the public first before you go and tidy up. In fact, you tidy up through consultation before you come to the public.
Right.
That is what you design.
But when
That's
does
the way
consultation end? But you see, when does consultation end?
Okay.
The act has not been done.
The
act is as the act been done.
The key point I'm talking about tax exemption, let me conclude on,
Give us the alternative. We want to hear you.
For me, it is one single measure. If government commits to do, we can easily get back 5 to 6 billion Ghana cedis. I tell you why.
It's captured.
But you won't let me finish. I'm talking. You won't let me even land.
Okay,
that's my frustration.
Of course, continue.
Yes, you don't want me to land.
But you are
we are having. Being a strong politician doesn't mean I should keep quiet or interrupt me.
You should be used to
interrupt me. I don't do that.
Okay, so today he's not doing that.
Yeah, today he's not doing it.
It's not my nature. Okay. I don't do that.
Oh, to interrupt.
Yeah, I don't interrupt.
Okay.
So my point is this. The low-hanging fruits around. First one is tax exemption. Every year, the tax exemption that we give out is between 5 to 6 billion. It is going to grow to a possible 7 billion. He knows my position on this. I have said it is wrong for government of Ghana to grant some of these exemptions to the multinational companies and big companies that comes into our economy, do business, get tax exemption, and repatriate the money away. If you give me an option to decide which one I should do first, I will first of all commit to bring this exemption bill. This is not the first time I'm hearing of this exemption bill. In fact, it was introduced in Parliament in 2019. It was subsequently withdrawn, and then government decided to bring it back. Well, we are waiting for it. I would be happy if this exemption bill, government is committed to this exemption bill. And in fact, what I want this government to do is that they should encourage us from Parliament or work with us to push this bill so that we can pass it even before we rise.
Of course.
Because that is the low-hanging fruit. If you give me an option between the tax exemption bill and the, what do you call it?
There's no option. It's captured.
But I have not seen the impact of that tax you are talking about. How much revenue are you anticipating to rake from the tax exemption bill?
But you're also saying that we should cease tax exemptions completely.
Yeah. No, you see, tax exemptions needs to be regulated.
No doubt about it.
Okay. and there is a huge savings we can make on the back of tax exemptions.
Agreed.
Huge savings we can make on the back.
Not scrap them entirely. Because
no, you can't scrap it entirely because we have some reciprocal agreements with some countries. Let's say the embassies. They don't tax you there, you don't tax them here. So those ones are there. But other than that, a lot we can cut. A lot we can cut.
All right.
So going back to transfers, leaving transfers.
How long does he want to talk?
Remittance. Remittance. Because you interrupted me so much.
Okay, I'll remittance. My time. Add it.
Remittance. You are saying that the old lady in my constituency, living in her wife's hometown, who has a daughter or a son living abroad, anytime that person remits that money home for housekeeping, chop money. In fact, for medical bills, that old lady is going to pay remittance tax on it.
No,
that is what he's saying. So it's not the sender is not the one going to pay. He said the one that is receiving will be the one paying.
Look, what is this?
The receiver, knowing that this is what is going to happen, will tell the son that if you are sending me 100 or 1,000 CDs, please
make it 107.
Put the tax on it so that I'll get there.
It depends on what that sender will have. And it depends on his pocket.
You see,
because maybe he doesn't have that money. He has the quantum amount that he has is what he's sending home.
Okay.
Something.
So let's come into that.
I'll let you come.
But the remitters.
One thing though, that once I heard about this thing, I thought was quite smart. There's a lot of 419 money circulating in the system. And I see government using this as a way to also tax some of that 419 money. Is that the case? That's something.
As for illegal money, it's not part of our policy.
No, but the people are transferring the money to the system anyway.
That's not the basis for our tax. Let me ask him.
But you will take the money.
We will take the money.
Yes.
But it's not about illegality.
But you appreciate that.
No, let's not discuss illegality here. What I'm saying is that he talks about remittance. Ask those who are remitting whether the countries where they are remitting from, they are not paying something to government.
They will.
They will, and they appreciate. In fact, if you talk to Ghanaians abroad, and I told you we did a lot of research before we came to this.
That taxes the bogus.
They are happy to contribute, okay, to the nation building of Ghana. And they know that Ghana, when it comes to revenue collection, we are not doing enough. They know how much taxes they are paying in those countries. And anytime they remit to Ghana, they see how we are almost not taxing anything. This is 1.75% of the, it's not even on the remitter.
But the same people, you also appreciate that.
Yes.
You also look at the way we're spending,
yes,
the waste in the system, and they're not happy about the waste.
Yes, that 100%, we all agree to improve on efficiency and all that we cannot run away from. But the principle of helping government to raise revenue, to be able to attend to the various expenditure expectations, they are happy to contribute. And I am pleading with my brother. He needs schools. He knows he's my in-law. I go to where he is. Look, they rose to Enyandenchra on that river, that bridge. We have to reconstruct it.
How much is?
How are we going to do that?
How much is government?
We need to raise this money. The money says we are not raising.
To raise from this e-levy?
The e-levy. Oh, he knows it.
No, you are the minister of finance.
It. Announce it for me. You know it.
How should I be the one to announce it? You know your money.
How much are you hoping to raise from?
Well, I think it's about, is it 15 billion or something?
The government is going to make, government is going to take, for this e-levy, 6.9 billion. 6.9 billion. 6.9 billion.
Okay.
You can find it.
I haven't checked the exact figure.
6.9 billion.
But it's quite substantial.
That's what government is going to take. But you see, the problem with me on the concerns I have on the transfers is simple. We have Ghanaians out there. We know their contribution to the economy through remittance.
Yes, they are happy
and we
to
all
help.
know what remittance does to our economy.
Yeah.
Show up our reserves and help so much. My major concern is that those people that are sending money home for the purposes of building for them, doing some investment home, they are the same people that are sending the money and they are the same people receiving it, obviously, here. It's because it's going into their investment. If they find a way and get to realize that government is taxing them, if you are not careful, those transactions will go underground.
How?
In the sense that
instead of transferring
it will go through black marketing.
Yeah. Or they'll find somebody, they'll give the money.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
The money to a relative or friend.
A friend somewhere will give me here, and then.
And he said, "Do it Momo for me, right?"
Yes, no Momo. They have a way. They have a way. You see, you have traders. You have traders.
In the end, you say, "Oh, do it Momo for me. I'm in the village." So we will still find him to it.
So that is where I have a problem.
All right.
So it is not going to help. And when you design a tax policy, you have to look at all of this. Ask yourself the difficult questions and then answer. So it's not going to help.
There are some realities of difficulties that no matter what you put your tax on, people can raise issues. That's why I've been on him to give us alternatives, okay? In all this, if there is any tax that is being so innovative and reaching out to so many Ghanaians to address the concerns of rope in the informal sector, expand the tax base, let the rich pay more. In this tax, we are exempting less than 100 cedis a day, so the poor are covered. But those who can do, he's here talking about 1 million Ghana. If somebody in Ghana can transfer 1 million Ghana,
so you see,
and you're not able to.
6.9. That's how much.
Thank you. I hadn't checked. So you see, if we have people who can transfer 1 million Ghana, and we are asking them, please, we need to build the road to your house. We need to send your children to school and pay their school fees. Government needs the money to build hospitals. When you are sick, your 1 million Ghana cannot save you. We are doing Agenda 111 to put up a hospital and pay the doctors and nurses.
You appreciate
we are appealing.
That rich people are the ones who don't like.
Yes, so that's why we have to appeal to them, okay?
Everything
to avoid it.
To avoid it, yes. To evade it. Avoidance of tax is not illegal.
But
it is when you evade that it is illegal. As for avoidance of tax, it is legal. If you have opportunity to avoid, it is illegal.
But there are some abusive avoidance.
Yeah, well, but you cannot handle that. So the point is that in order to avoid the evasion of taxes, let us adopt a process that reaches out to everybody and helps government to raise enough to address all these problems. And that's exactly what we have done. If the NDC says they will oppose this, then I'll be surprised. How unpatriotic could they be? How are we going to generate all these revenues to attempt to address government issues?
One other question. If you're withdrawing money from the ATM, will that be affected?
ATM, I'm not sure ATM is a digital
ATM is withdrawal.
It's withdrawal.
It's not a transfer.
Okay.
It's a withdrawal.
It's a withdrawal.
You are withdrawing from account.
Yes.
So that's not
that shouldn't be.
And then even the question of the bank, the employer transferring to the employee. The employee is at the receiving end. He will not pay.
No, but the
employer is going to pay. Somebody
yes. Okay, yes.
The employer is going to pay. But the employer is having to pay a bit more.
Of course.
And if it's going to pay a bit more...
See, the essence of taxes is to take more from those who have. The employer has more than the employee.
You see, research has proven...
I'm coming before the research. Let's explain. We are here to also educate, so people appreciate where we are coming from. That we are seeking to get more from progressive, from the rich, and take less from the poor.
How can this be a progressive tax? It's regressive.
Well, how can this be regressive? If you are saying that the employee is not paying, the employer is paying.
The employee
I'll tell you why.
Eventually, and you see, you may want to look at it as maybe like a multimedia, but not all businesses are multimedia. There are some businesses too that are small. The small businesses that we're seeking to help in the budget by encouraging them with 1 billion cedis that government is seeking.
Yes, we should go there on the U-Start to
see. There are some small businesses too who will feel this pinch and they will decide that instead of paying this money, I have to find other ways.
Well, other ways are not good ways, and I want to encourage everybody. Please, it is safer and better to still be on your digital transactions than to carry cash. The danger is nothing is worth your life. Okay, so let us not encourage people to go cash away because look, you just put your life in danger. Let's not do that. And we understand the difficulties that this policy may bring. But like I've asked you, is there anywhere in the world where a government tax policy has not brought burden on people? But we all do that because our collective responsibility as citizens to build Ghana. We have to build our nation, and the monies we get elsewhere, it is contribution of taxes from their citizens that they give to us, either in loans or in grants. So we should be bold to say that we will build our country. This is our also big contribution. Even if it is hard, it's our bigger contribution.
One other thing that has come up in the budget, which I'd want us to look at.
If we've not exhausted this point, let me make my point. I'm not even talk about the
you did all your trade wages.
No, that is. I'm not done. Let me finish.
Okay.
The e-tax, the one on mobile money, is something we should be concerned also about. Because, even not long ago, in fact, I had always cautioned this government against Momo tax. I've held a number of press conferences, and in fact, I have prompted government that it's something that we should not entertain because it's not going to help. Prior to election, in fact, in August 2020, our vice president held, one-on-one conversation with Kwame Sifakai. And he was blunt that they are not going to tax mobile money. The vice president.
But at the time, it wasn't right to...
The vice president, that he doesn't believe in it. You think I'm lying?
No.
I guess it's changes.
No, yes, but Israel, I have told you that...
Let me finish.
As at that time,
this is his point.
He had not made enough investment to touch...
Oh, really?
Of
2020.
Now we have...
How much?
August 2020.
How much extra?
This is 2020. This is what he said. Let me read it to you.
Okay, read it.
I don't believe mobile money should be taxed. Bawumia, look at what he said. Go ahead. This is August 2020.
Okay.
And read. Let Ghanaians be aware of what he said. No, please, let me read it louder so that let me read it louder. So please.
He's being misquoted.
The vice president, Dr. Bawumia, has said he does not think mobile money should be taxed beyond the corporate tax the telcos already pay on their mobile money earnings.
Yes, so he was talking about the telcos.
In an exclusive interview.
Telcos,
he's talking about what?
No.
Beyond, no, please, don't. This is what he said.
So put it in context. He spoke about the corporate tax of telcos. So this is in context.
No, in what context?
In fact, at the time, the conversation we were having was that mobile money was going to be taxed on the transaction. That was a complaint
of on the telcos.
No, not on the telcos. Please listen carefully. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has said he does not think mobile money should be taxed beyond the corporate taxes the telcos already pay.
Yeah, the telcos are paying. The telcos
so here we are talking about taxes on telcos.
Yeah,
okay.
He doesn't think that beyond the taxes that the
we should also
pay, we should tax anybody else.
No. It's not like that. You see.
And he went on to say, I don't think mobile money should be taxed because most of the people who use the service are poor people.
Yes,
so if
we've exempted the poor.
If you put more taxes on it, they will suffer.
Yes. So we've exempted the poor. This is what I've told. 30% of them. We have exempted them. Up to 100. You see, we did not just start. Yes, up to 100. The poor have been exempted. And take your time. Okay. Relax for me. Yes. Let's address this issue. You see, tax policy change over time. Something can be right today.
So he's changed his mind?
Yes, based on the facts available today. Really? And we have still covered the poor, okay? Like I said, we took our time, did our research, and saw what could be done. We saw that about 30% of Momo users, the poor the Vice President was talking about, we have covered them. We've taken them out of this. We have done so.
The 100 is not enough.
Oh, it is enough. We have done our research.
Look,
it covers
3,000
cities in a month.
The 3,000.
How many people in Ghana earn 3,000 cities in a month?
It's not enough. You see,
how many people?
You see, you are looking at it from that quantum. But let's be honest.
How many people earn up to 3,000 cities a month?
If
a policy exempts up to 3,000 cities a month, 100 cities a day, you are saying it's not enough.
You see, the 3,000 cities is not on a transaction per particular day. So
it's 100 cities per day.
So if I
when you multiply that by a month, it's 3,000.
Or someone in your village, Israel, someone in your village calls you that I have a medical emergency. I need to go to hospital. I need 1,000 Ghana cedis. If your heart for some reason is touched and you think you want to help the person, that 100 cedis you send to the person is going to be taxed by 1.75.
No, that person will not pay. You pay.
Yeah, that's the point.
No, that's the point I'm making.
But why is it not touching you enough to help government? We are also appealing to you. Help us. Is the person sick? We want to go to hospitals for him. No, why should it be a problem? If
not long ago,
touch enough.
Not long ago, the Vice President, before the elections, told us that he does not believe that Momo.
We have done that.
All of a sudden, after the elections, he's now changed his position.
No.
It's for Ghanaians to judge.
Changed. In fact,
it's for Ghanaians to judge.
Yeah,
after the elections, he's telling us that he's changed his position. Vice
President was worried about the poor, and I've told you we researched. We saw that the poor people constituted about 30%.
So they have been exempted.
And they have been exempted.
Okay, great. Now let's go to this other issue, which has to do with this common platform that government is looking at for the collection of revenue at the district assembly.
At the property rate.
I'd want you to explain that, to break it down for us.
Yes, so one key revenue source that we are not tapping enough is the property rate that could serve as IGF to many of our district assemblies in Ghana. And it appears the best way to do it for government to come in with some digital platform that will help in the collection of property rates by doing property evaluation at a certain standard, okay? And then we will know a house located in this municipality should be evaluated at this rate. And then we can all agree on a percentage to be charged by those households as their contribution to revenue and improvement of course, or improvement of works within those municipalities.
Right.
So government is seeking to come out with a special project on property rates collection through this platform, special platform, which we are seeking to digitalize and help to do proper evaluation and assessment of properties across the country. Then we can help those municipalities to charge.
Okay.
But because government is coming in to lead, okay, in terms of rolling out this project, even though it's supposed to be a municipal tax, government is leading it. And so there's going to be some revenue sharing because of the cost that government is going to upfront.
Tell us the revenue sharing. I hear 60-40 and all of that.
I'm sure it will be. You see, if it's, in the end, if it's 60-40, it is because it's supposed to be maybe 50-50 or 60-40.
Who gets
government? Because
government
they are going
60.
to bear all the costs. At the moment, the assemblies are getting almost zero. Okay, and this is the beginning. Initial investment that government has to make, of course, you need to upfront it. So government may take 60% in the fees and charges and the consultancy and all the works that we are doing. But this can be reviewed every time. If next year or two, government realizes that their initial investment have been recovered and so much more should go to the assemblies, it can be reviewed.
So let's even say 50-50.
Yes.
Now, let's look at the District Assembly's Commons Fund and government remittance. I mean, how much, what government is supposed to pay to these districts? What's the last time government paid anything to the districts?
Oh, we are always paying.
You are in arrest.
As far
You are in arrest, big time.
Government is in arrears.
We are
and
always
the point
paying.
I'm just making
Yes. I think we are arrest only in the third quarter.
No, you have paid only the last quarter of 2020. I'm an MP, and these are things that I sit on. First quarter 2021 hasn't been paid. Second quarter hasn't been paid. Third quarter is just about falling due.
Third quarter is not due, so it means we are
just about falling due.
The reason I'm bringing this up is government
is due now. We are in November.
Government is supposed to pay these assemblies.
Yes.
And you are in arrears. And then this other one comes in, this property rates also comes in.
To help them, that is an IGF for the assemblies.
How soon are they getting their monies? If government is
we approve it. This one is for 2022.
Yeah, I get it.
So,
but I'm saying, looking at how long it takes for government to pay these people their monies, how soon are they going to get this?
I support this.
This one.
Even before he comes in, let me say that I think the policy to ensure that property taxes are collected is an excellent idea.
No doubt.
Excellent idea. I want it collected because I believe those with big houses has to pay the taxes.
Yeah, that's why you are.
I believe it. I believe it, and I'm fair. I mean, what is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. I believe they should be paying.
Yes.
But there's certain mechanism that we need to interrogate further.
Okay.
One, Greater Accra, Greater Kumasi, Takoradi, let's say Tamale,
municipals,
and then Koforidua, Cape Coast. Those key communities or big cities, municipal assemblies, I don't even believe that we should give them common fund. I think what we should do is for us to encourage them to be able to collect the property rate in a way that they can use it to develop the area. The key mechanism that I want to interrogate is that I understand that a private company is the one going to collect this. I want to know the cost of the private company.
Yeah.
I want to know how much they are retaining. I want to understand why government is deciding after taking a percentage, why they also want to take 60% at the center and to give 40% only to the district assembly. I want to hear from them that some district deprived communities, that the district assembly more or less, the major sources of their income, of their revenue, IGF, is the property rate, like a Jumako and Yanesiam district assembly. I want to see them exempted. So that the district assembly should be the one and rather help them to be able to collect those taxes. But the idea itself is a noble one. I agree.
Let's hear from you.
I am a #1 supporter of decentralization. I believe in empowerment of the assemblies. Okay. Unfortunately, as it is now, they are zero. Almost even all those major municipalities he mentioned, go and check their IGF in terms of property rate. They are not performing. And to correct that, you need to start from a certain position. This private partner he's talking about, we have not even approved the act. So how do you appoint him? You need to go through procurement processes
Often when these things come up, government often has somebody in mind, or there's somebody.
Well, if it's in mind, let it remain in mind.
They have a software already. The discussion has gone there.
Yes,
for me, if you want to convince me to approve that act, there are details you have to give it to.
Yes, but that is pre-engagements, okay, which is allowed in the law. But he's talking about the proper contract and how much is going where, because for now, it's GRA. In terms of the policy planning, it is GRA supposed to play that role. So if GRA wants to outsource, that if he wants to know the percentage GRA charges for their role, that one is already in the law. But if GRA is seeking to outsource that particular duty, it has to go through procurement processes, which he knows that is not yet time. So I cannot sit here and give figures. So let's relax. The thing will come to him. He's part of he's the ranking on finance committee. I will take it to him anyway. So you will see it.
Yeah, but
let's not go ahead of ourselves.
I'm only cautioning you. I'm happy
that at least we agree that as a country, something has to be done about property rate collection. No two ways about that. And then in future, much more should go to the district assemblies level. And maybe that will be a topic discussion for another day on how we can empower our districts in Ghana. I'm on the phone.
Benchmark values too.
Oh, you want to bring benchmark value discussion? Let's discuss that one too. Look, and then the youth issue. Let's discuss youth and the rest.
It's important.
There's a lot of hope in this budget. Look, 1 billion cedis every year for youth. Powerful.
We in the minority, right? We've made our point. We've said that as for the electronic transaction tax, that levy, we are going to oppose it.
Very unpatriotic.
Why
unpatriotic.
Why though? Because
very unpatriotic.
Agree.
How can you be this unpatriotic?
I know you've explained.
I've explained my point.
How can you be this? On these are flimsy grounds. What point?
Can I finish? I said we are going to oppose it. So let me tell you the reason why. We are saying that particular tax, we are going to oppose it. We are asking government to rather expedite action on the exemption bill.
It's in your hands now. It's in Parliament.
No, so you have to come quickly for us to deal with it. And then we believe
Parliament.
that 6.9 billion that they want to rake in, the exemption bills can give them that money. We'll work with them.
Exemption
bill help them.
Is already captured in the budget.
No, that's why you are
already
show me.
Captured in the budget.
I showed you how much.
Not where you showed me. I also
and then so show me where the exemption bill. How much money?
Yeah,
how much money? How much money?
I've not passed the act.
The one I showed you, I gave you the money. Yeah. Show me the money. How much you are getting?
I'm saying that it is.
The amount is not in
2020. Okay.
Brother, you work at the Ministry of Finance. You know that is the fiscal table. That's where the money is. So show me where the money is.
Relax. It is here.
No, what is there?
You've gone over this already.
If it is there, then it's enough.
What is enough?
That we are going to implement it in 2022, and it's already captured in the fiscal.
So how much are you going to make?
Look,
what's the fiscal
when
impact?
he asked me about how much on e-levy, I told him I haven't checked the figures on the specific in terms of contribution. I was honest.
Brother, I've read this budget 3 times
already. And he even showed me. Look, you have read only 3 times.
Okay,
I have read it several times.
And I'm telling you that I have not. This government has
what he's asking us to do.
The tax exemption.
What he's asking us to do is already captured. It's here to be implemented in 2022. It's already captured. So he should tell us a new thing that we haven't.
I'm sure you'd appreciate.
He should tell us a new thing.
You're saying that you're going to, the minority is going to oppose it.
Very unpatriotic.
This clearly broadens.
Very unpatriotic.
Even though, yes, it will impose some incidents, a bit more burden on particular people, which government is saying that there's something that they're looking at. That should.
You see, being patriotic, or patriotism is indeed when at any point in time you see a particular policy is going to affect the living standard of the people you oppose it.
Which living standard? You are opposing 6 billion revenue coming.
Can I just talk?
And you think
can I just talk? So you don't want me to speak? Okay, continue talking.
Okay.
So
it's my turn.
What is important for us to understand is that Ghanaians are already complaining. Already. Businesses are struggling. This your policy is going to collapse the banking sector. Remittances are going to be taxed.
Collapse the
mobile money. You are taxing it.
The banks.
We are telling you going forward that there's an option somewhere. Go and take it.
That option is already captured.
We are going to help you.
It's already captured.
Help you by ensuring that the tax on the exemption levy, exemption bill will be passed appropriately.
Anyway.
Okay, so that's our point.
So we talked about how people are enjoying the free tolls for now. So let's go to
okay. Before I tell him about how he collapsed the banks before he left.
Who collapsed the banks? You came and collapsed the banks.
You are telling me that before he left.
So Enimado is out there, and he's at the Kaswa toll booth, and she is. In a show, we're going to be telling us how the people there, the motorists who are using that road, are excited about, I want to believe that they'll be excited that they're not having to pay tolls, and how that is impacting on the traffic situation. And another thing that government talked about, which is laudable, is the fact that there's a lot of pollution that happens around that area because the vehicles in that congestion, there's a lot of emission. So for those communities, and so those communities are also going to be spared the emissions that happen in around these toll booths. So Nimwa, what can you report?
Taxes at the tolls, no more collection of money at the tolls. You don't have to pay the usual 50 pesos or 1 CD at the tolls to be able to get through. And so you can see that traffic is moving so freely this morning. What's really funny though is there's some people who perhaps may have missed the budget and so are still sticking out their hands to try and pay the toll operators, the non-existent toll operators who this morning are not at post. That's been quite funny to see. But on the large, people are just driving through. A lot of cars are honking when other cars slow down. Perhaps those who don't know that they're not meant to stop and give money anymore. So this is the scene from Kaswa this morning. Free flow of traffic and an almost celebratory mode, especially from the trotro drivers who, well, they don't have to pay money anymore, do they? So that's what's happening here. On the other side, though, the usual crowd of hawkers can't really be found. If you look around, you notice that there's normally quite a good number of people who are selling, drinks, bread, all sorts of things, plantain chips. We can't really find them this morning because the traffic is moving, so there's nobody to sell to really. But on the other side of the road, those who have mounted stands, so those who are selling bread and drinks and have tables, are at post. However, you would observe that actually people are not stopping to buy those things because we do a lot of convenience shopping, and so it's not convenient anymore to actually stop. We're going to go over to some of those who are selling by the roadside and talk to them because obviously their business are going to be affected. They're not going to have as many customers because the traffic is flowing. Another question that comes up is that is this going to generally decrease the amount of traffic on this road? So when we were driving and coming, there was still a little bit of traffic at Weja. I'm going to Malam, and for a long time we've blamed that on the toll booth. But this morning we're finding out that actually that traffic has nothing to do with the toll booth, and so we'll see if maybe as the days go by, that traffic will ease and this road will become a road that you can basically just drive in. But for this morning, I think that most passengers are quite happy to not have to deal with the traffic. For the traders, though, it's a completely different story.
Kaswa toll booth. So that's exciting for the people who are not having to pay tolls.
But you know something?
Yeah.
I think she made a very interesting point.
The traders?
The issue of the traders.
Yeah.
I call it policy trade-offs. Or in other words, you can call the adverse impact of a policy. Even though it may be good, it has its adverse side.
Yeah.
So anytime you are coming out with policy like this, you should also look beyond what may happen. People's livelihood
will be impacted.
And these people, what do you do for them?
But you do
it's not only the people that are in the tape.
Yeah.
Yes, you always look at it. But remember, there are people out there that traders, hawkers. They need to earn some income. Okay, so government must certainly find a way to address some of this negative.
There's a question that's coming on the e-levy. So it says every transaction ought to be taxed, but the tax should hit the operators, not the users. And there should be a law to prevent the operators from passing any part of the tax on to the users.
Oh, how?
It is a gold mine, and currently the operators are fleecing the users. Then the question is, should mobile money users be taxed Does a user make money by using the service? That's the question. So mobile money users, because you're taxing them because they're probably earning something from it. Okay.
Yes,
I think should they be taxed?
I think the issue here is, who are the users is he talking about? Is it the merchant? Is it me?
No, users.
You and I. Okay. Are you going to tax me for using the service?
That's the question.
It's a big question. Remember that I am already paying a fee. In itself, it's a charge. It manifests in a way as taxes. And the entire value chain is 1 cedi. It's 1%. So the entire value chain between the merchant and then the telcos, they charge you 1%. Now the government want to charge even more than the entire value chain. My concern is that going forward, I would like to encourage government rather to ensure they tax the profits that the telcos make or the merchant that makes. I would have thought that would be the policy. And clearly, if that was the policy, we would have supported it. In the sense that you are taxing the profits, because the merchant are also making profits.
Or maybe they need to pay. So in other words, the fees.
Yes.
The fees that they're going to get. So if the merchant is going to get 1%, then you can even decide to even get 100% of the 1%.
Israel, you see, as a country, we always have to make choices. Nobody will build this country for us. And he clearly, as he sits here, he knows. And for the first time after a budget, I haven't heard my senior brother talking about fiscals and government's clear determination to bring fiscal consolidation and debt sustainability into the country. Check the budget. We have been able to reduce our budget deficit 15% in 2020, 12.1 in 2020. This is above the budget reporting. And now we are targeting 7.4%. So he doesn't talk about it.
Oh,
in 2022, we are
there.
posting a positive primary balance, which shows that debt sustainability is on course. We are seeking to close the gap and ensure that even before the 2024, we'll get back to the fiscal responsibility threshold of 5%.
Right.
That is a good thing to do. How do you achieve this? These are some of the sacrifices that we all as a country have to make. And when we say that, and saying about how the telcos are making and how we charge telcos and leave every Ghanaian out, how do we build this country?
I'll take that as your final comments.
On the issue of the fiscals,
yeah.
I have a big doubt, and I'm not alone in having the doubt. This budget has said to us that they are going to move the tax total revenue from 16% to 20% of GDP in 1 year. 4 percentage points. Tax revenue of 37 billion Ghana cedis. They went further to say that by the end of the year, they will collect 55 billion Ghana cedis. Granted that you can be able to collect the 55 billion. The measures in the budget, they are telling us is going to yield 25 billion Ghana cedis to the extent that the tax revenue is going to move from 55 billion to 80 billion in 1 year. It means an increase of over 45%. I have my doubt.
All right.
That policy indeed will yield revenue. But I do not believe that they are going to hit 25 billion.
That much.
Okay. As a result, go and check the international bond market. Our spreads have started moving. Investors has become very skeptical. The government cannot achieve that target over 1 year, 45%. If you care to see, I can show you the yield.
The budget was just presented.
I can show you the yields now.
It was presented.
I can show you the yields, and you know what is happening? It's getting bad.
No, now that the budget has been presented,
it is
they
the
didn't have the
responsibility
information.
of government.
They didn't have the information. But look,
It is when the budget was presented that the yields move.
Look.
It's not after. It is when the budget was presented.
All right.
Look.
In fact, it has gotten worse before the budget.
Okay, no problem. Fortunately, we have set our target. We are committed to delivering it. 1 year is not far. We will come back here, and that is why we are economic magicians and they are not. Anything we present, they say you can do. Okay, by the time we do it, they are surprised.
Let's
we will surprise them again.
Thank you very much.
Let's see what happens. But I have no faith in this budget.
Oh, that is it.
I have no faith.
Dr. John Kuma.
That is why we are magicians on the economy and you are not.
I have no faith in this budget.
And then we also have Dr. Kasela Tofor, a former Deputy Finance Minister, joining us for the conversation. We appreciate both of you. And the fact that we had a very interesting conversation. And it wasn't the typical political banter. You're watching the AM show. We're taking a break, but there's more coming up. Stay tuned in.